Hello students, we'll see the next topic under the third chapter. First one is the coercion, it's over, right? Next one, undue influence. What do you mean by undue influence? Section 16, subsection 1 of the Indian Contract Act 1872 defines undue influence as an influence exercised by one party on the other when the relations subsisting between the parties are such that one of the parties is in a position to dominate the will of the other and uses the position to obtain an unfair advantage over the other. Undue influence is nothing but it is the influence exercised by the one party on the power exercised by the one party on the other. In this case, the party should be in a relation between the parties are such way that one of the parties in the position to dominate the other party. Their relation should be in the dominant way. Okay, one party is using his power on the other party. That is the undue influence. If there is any undue influence in the contract, that contract is not a valid contract. Okay, one person is using the power on another person. For example, servant and the master. Right, the master is using this power on the servant, or the student and the teacher, and or father and son. These relations are the main coming under the undue influence. Means one person is using his power on the other another for taking the permission for the entering into an contract. Okay, next we'll see the what are the relationship or circumstances in which undue influence is presumed by law. Okay, what are the relationship or situations where the undue influence may arise. Okay, first one say where he holds a real or apparent authority over the other, whether where there is a authority on the other. If there is one person has the authority on the other, then there is a possible of arising the undue influence. For example, master and servant. Master has the authority on the servant, or police officer and accused person, right? Or teacher and student. There is a what power on the other person. There should be a power or authority on the other person. Then there is a possibility to arise the undue influence. Next one, where he stands in a fiduciary relation to the other, relationship with mutual trust and confidence. Fiduciary is nothing but when the relationship stands with the mutual trust and confidence. Okay, the relationship is on the basis of the trust and confidence. For example, father and son, right? That is not a other authority. That is the relationship with the mutual trust and confidence. And the relationship between the doctor and patient also same. The patient is believing the doctor, right? So mutual trust and confidence. And third one is the where he makes a contract with a person whose mental capacity is temporarily or permanently affected by reason of old age, illness, etc. In case of the third first one is the in the case of authority on the other, second one is the relationship with mutual trust and confidence, third one is the a person makes a contract with a person whose mental capacity is temporarily or permanently affected reason of old age. A person is making the contract with the another person, that another person is not mentally well in because of his age or because of the illness. In these three cases, there is a possibility of arising the undue influences. And one more thing we'll see, uh, section 16 of 16 subsection 2 of the Indian Contract Act, undue influence is presumed by law in the following relationship. What are the main relations coming under the undue influence? Okay, for example, father and son, guardian and ward, master and servant, or doctor and patient, then advocate and client. Okay, then trustee and beneficiary, or promoter and company, teacher and student, and police officer and accused, income tax officer and assessee, fiance and fiancee, husband and illiterate wife, and illiterate lady and any other contracting party. These are the relationship where the undue influence may arise. And however, the law does not presume any undue influence in the following relations. These are the relations where a company or the law where law assumes or presumes the undue influence. ಈ ಎಲ್ಲ ಕೇಸ್ಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಹೀಗೆ ಹೇಳಿದ ಎಲ್ಲ ಕೇಸ್ಗಳಲ್ಲಿ undue influence ಆಗಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯ ಉಂಟು. And there are some cases the law does not presume any undue influence in the following relations. Okay, following relations does not presume any undue influence. For example, husband and wife, or mother and daughter, husband and wife, husband and only the illiterate wife is coming under the undue influence. Husband and literate wife, and mother and daughter, or grandfather and grandson, creditor and debtor, principal and agent, landlord and tenant. In these cases, we cannot presume the undue influence. Okay, these are the main examples, and we'll see one more example for the undue influence. We'll see the example. See, example of undue influence. First one, see, a father advanced to his minor son money to his minor son. A father advanced money to his minor son. After son became a major, the father, because of his parental influence over his son, induced the son to execute in favor of the father a bond for a greater amount. Here, there is a case of undue influence employed by the father on his son. No, see, father advanced some money to his son when he was minor, but after he became major, the father is forcing or induced that person to execute a particular bond in favor of father with a greater amount. For example, dad paid only 100 rupees when the son was a minor, but after the is attaining majority, that father is forcing him to sign a bond for the greater amount, means for rupees 1000. This is the undue influence. Okay, and one more thing we'll see, the a master, the master name is X, and our employer, master is nothing but the employer, gave a loan of rupees 100 to his servant, 100 rupees to servant Y. Servant is Y, X is the master or employer, and took his signature on blank paper. He advanced only rupees 100 and he took a signature for a blank paper. Afterwards, the X, the master, entered the amount 200 as a loan given to Y. After he took a loan, he took a sign only for the blank paper, and he after that he entered the amount of rupees 2000 as a loan given to Y. Here also there is a case of undue influence by X, the master, on Y, his servant. There is undue influence by the X, that is master, on his servant, that is Y. Okay, it is the one more example for the undue influence. Okay, one more example we'll say. A lady who was ill, she is not feeling well, gifted all her property worth rupees 7000 to P, a doctor who was attending on her. The lady disputed the gift deed as soon as she recovered from illness. P filed a suit for retaining the possession of the gifted property. P's suit for the possession of the property was set aside by the court on the ground of undue influence. See, under this, a lady who was ill gifted all her property worth rupees 7000 to P. He gifted all her property to P, a doctor who was attending on her, who is treating her. She gifted all the property. The lady disputed the gift deed as soon as recovered from illness. She is fighted for the gift deed after she want the property back after getting to recovered from the illness. P filed a suit for retaining the possession of the property, but P filed a case on A because already that lady gifted that particular things, right? But in this regarded as the transaction, P is sued for possession of the property was set aside. P's case is set aside, it's neglected by the court on the ground of undue influence. On the ground of undue influence, it's set aside. Okay, this is about the examples of the undue influence. Okay, we'll see some special cases under the next class. Okay, under this only the meaning. Undue influence is nothing but one person is using his power on the another person. Okay, for the purpose of attaining the is permission to enter into the contract. This is about the undue influence and the relations or circumstances, as we already discussed about some examples. Okay, we'll see the some other part of undue influence under the